How do you do, my fellow cadets?
I'm here. Not technically against my will, so I guess I'm okay.
I'm surprised you aren't fighting back, because clearly you're a teacher, not a cadet. You've seen stuff. Not only are you a teacher in real life, but you've lived through the burn.
Oh yeah, but the cadets have also seen things. They've lived lives.
Well, one of them's only a few months old, but with the personality of a 17-year-old. But we can get there. And Cadet Bartek, how you doing?
Oh, well, I was going to be substitute teacher, Bartek, but considering that the person we thought was going to be a substitute teacher is a pirate, I guess I'm Pirate Bartek?
Pirate King.
Pirate King. Ooh. I like the
Now
sound of
clink
that.
your metal fingertips together and eat the scenery while you talk. Ah, yum yum indeed. And I am Ryan, and we here are the Yum Podcast, a podcast that goes over science fiction television one episode at a time, and we are talking about a new series of Star Trek, Starfleet Academy. Rolls off the tongue. It just, the two stars just feels so natural to say one after the other. Rachel and I, we are a husband and wife team. We've seen Star Trek. We have experienced it. And Bartek, you are a friend, someone who is quite the newbie, someone who has not really gone into the franchise before. You've only seen one movie, and that was Into Darkness, and nothing else. You haven't consumed anything else.
It's like I was in that darkness.
And we are here today to talk about the first 2 episodes of Starfleet Academy. Rachel, what are these episodes called again?
Kids These Days and Beta Test.
We recommend that people give these episodes a watch because we will be getting into the details of them. But
It's your choice.
But these are the starting episodes, so there's mainly a lot of just, here are these characters, here's the context that they live in. The episodes individually have very sparse plots because that's just the nature of the beast when you get a series up and running. There's a lot of, here we are putting down the silverware, we're getting the meal ready. The first episode's like, I know it's called Starfleet Academy, but we won't get there till the last 2 seconds of the episode. Don't you worry, but we will get there one day. In the final moments of this hour 15 long episode, we will get there.
We cried.
We cried, we cheered, we laughed. Rachel, how do you want to go off from here?
Well, I want to give some general thoughts about the 2 episodes, and then we will go into more specifics. I didn't particularly enjoy either of these episodes, but I didn't really hate them. But I want to hear more from Bartek before we sway him.
Both of them?
Yeah, how did you feel about these?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I remember in episode 0 I can't remember if it was like a theory or a guess or just like, oh, this could happen. We pondered that maybe it might start just kind of slice of lifey and then move on to serious plot stuff. And it kind of does the opposite in a way.
Starts there?
Where the first episode like kind of starts like, okay, we're introducing the characters, but also we have like, pretty intense actiony stuff happening. And then the second episode's like, okay, we did our action starter, now let's introduce like the one character on the poster we haven't introduced yet, kind of thing. Yeah, so it kind of a mishmash of like tones and story type things going on. But yeah, it is still early days, so it's like, okay, let's see what's going on here. Let's see what part of this, to use your analogy, this feast is actually foreshadowing or whatever.
I am mixed on this for a multitude of reasons. The biggest one being, as we are stating, this is the premiere, this is the beginning of a Star Trek show, and a lot of science fiction shows, great ones, poor ones, average ones, and Star Trek very much so, always suffer from those teething pains and just the slow starts. They just don't always just kick off with their strong suit. They don't always come in swinging. A lot of it is laborious. I find it hard to figure out which episode of the two I liked, because I will give it this: they are distinctly different from one another. As Bartek was saying, the first episode is very front-loaded with, here's all of the overarching stuff. Here's our character's backstory. We're going to see them as a kid. We're going to see them grow up. We're going to see them have a villainous force from their previous life now come in and all of that. And then the second episode is very much like, here's a little diplomatic issue with a slice of life character thing that weaves into it. And it's very hard to pick which ones work for you.
There's elements from both that, like, if we could mix them to one, that would be like the best episode.
Yeah, they're trying to do very different things.
Rachel, you are a master of summaries. Do you have one for kids these days? Because the one on IMDb is a novel length for some mysterious reason.
I've decided that I'm gonna try and structure these summaries in a specific way because it just amuses me. So my summary for kids these days is: a 21-year-old calls his mummy and endangers a crew of an entire spaceship.
It's true.
But it's okay because Giamatti did the Vulcan salute.
He did do that at the end for some reason, even though he's not a Vulcan.
Nope.
Nor is the character he's doing it to.
Nope.
That's exactly what I was thinking when watching this. Like, oh, thank God he did the Vulcan salute.
Thank God he mentioned...
That's the V thing, right?
Yeah. Thank God he mentioned very clunkily in a line of dialogue why he has super strength, which is, don't mess with the Klingonite, which is, I guess he's half Klingon and half Tellurite.
Yeah.
And that's why Paul Giamatti can realistically beat up the most muscular 21-year-old man you've ever seen in your life.
They show his muscles off so much.
The main character's muscles take over whole scenes. There's whole scenes with like Holly Hunter's talking to him.
Dedicated.
And I'm not joking. There's whole scenes where Holly Hunter's talking to him. Like, she's like, I remember when you were a little boy and all that. And he's like got no sleeves and the veins are literally throbbing because his muscles are flexing for some reason while he's just sitting down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Holly, I know you're like an Oscar-winning actress, but I can't pay attention to what you're talking about because there's literally veins throbbing in my face for some mysterious reason.
Mm-hmm. And it feels like they adjust the size of that shot so you get to see all of his muscles.
Now, we named our podcast Yum Yum because of that wonderful, absurd line of dialogue from Star Trek Discovery, and we like to keep note of, was there a yum yum moment in the episodes that we see? Was there a moment that was like, oh wow?
There's always a yum yum moment to point out.
That was strange. That was bizarre. And I can't remember which one it is in. I think it's the second one. But with the first one, I know I'm going to at least nail it down to this. I found it very upsetting and very strange, honestly, that we go to the ship, the Starfleet Academy, that's also a ship that's going to eventually go to San Francisco. Don't worry, we get a song at the end that lets us know they're going to San Francisco.
You got to put flowers in your hair.
You got to put flowers in your hair. And we meet the number one, and she just yells a lot.
The blue lady.
Yeah, white lady, the Jem'Hadar Klingon. And there's that moment where she's like, you, Klingon, you're like me, put your bag on that guy's back while he's doing the push-ups. And it was just, that whole sequence was just like, what is going on here? This is very strange to me. Like,
hazing.
I understand what this is supposed to be in one of these, but it was just done so bizarrely.
Like, while I'm doing a drill sergeant bit, let's quickly, you're on the poster, come here, what's your deal?
Tell me your deal. And I relate.
Happens to walk past.
And as someone who's also part of that deal as a fellow Klingon, I'm going to tell you your deal isn't good enough. So that was that.
Oh, yeah.
At least for me, the pointing out that she's a Klingon was good, I guess, exposition.
Clarification for
Because
you?
I think after we recorded the episode 0, we did sit around for a bit and we were like Googling alternative posters because, we only knew the funny one. And there was one with her on it. I'm like, oh, look, there's the funny lady. And you were like, who's the funny lady? I'm like, the blue person?
Oh,
you're like, she's a Klingon.
Yeah. Well, she's Jem'Hadar and then part Klingon. So she's two different races hybrid.
Yeah,
That's
she
why
mentioned at
doesn't
some
look
point that
like
she's
that.
like
Yeah.
half, yeah.
And it's a big controversy about her. We can. I don't want to get into that, but we can get into that
Well,
later.
Later.
Uh,
I want to give my yum
Yes,
yum
please.
for the first episode, which is that slowed down version of that song at the end. Because I was like, oh, you're doing this. And then it just keeps going. It just keeps going.
And everyone is like, this is a magical moment.
and the tears rolling down.
I'm like, oh, wow, even the main character.
If you're going to San Francisco.
Bartek, did you have a yum yum for this first episode?
You know what? Even though I knew that this is something you do on the show, I wasn't really thinking of it, but it's hard not to just say, hey, the first episode's the one that had Paul Giamatti in it. So.
But what's something that he did that was particularly ridiculous?
Yeah,
in a maybe delightful
I don't mind.
way?
I don't mind.
It's very hard to pick, but I do like when he. First of all, I need to get the terminology right. Does he teleport onto the ship,
Yep.
or is he a hologram?
He holograms
Yeah.
first, and then he
Okay.
teleports later.
Because at one point, he's there, and I'm like, oh, he must be a projection or something. But then there he's told, get off my ship. I'm like, oh, he's actually there?
Yeah.
No one's doing anything?
He was a hologram to begin with, and then he teleports on to actually deconstruct their core.
She puffs air and he disappears.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why that works.
But what was your moment?
Yeah, it's not really any deliveries, but I did really like how he overhears the call for help and knows who the kid is, so he just points out and you separated him from his mother, kind of thing.
Yeah, and then it's like
not origami chicken?
I did like when she's just like, oh, so let me guess, you're here for the kid? He's like, oh god, no, I'm a businessman.
Yeah,
I don't give a
yeah.
fuck about that. I'm not doing that shit. I don't give a fuck.
Doing the guilt trip on her, because a big part of her character is guilt. Yeah.
Another yum yum moment was, I can't remember the guy's species. It's like a new species, but the running gag of I'm Camarian, bitch.
Also, that is a new species.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with the Genesis lady, where she's like, I'm a Da Shah. It's like, I don't know. No one knows you can't just say I'm a Da Shah. It's like, no one knows what that is.
You've got kind of like a fishy thing going on.
Da Shah, everyone. I'm a Da Shah. There's only a few that we already, over the cadets, we already know. Klingons, we know. Betazoids, we know. And humans, we know.
And
Holograms, we know. And that's it.
Bartek, it's time for you to ask any questions.
Yeah, anything leap out.
Well, there's one very obvious one, and it's a question of does the fan who's up to date already know what this is? And it's the thing that the opening narration calls the Mern.
You hit my first critique, and Rachel can attest.
Thank God they say it multiple times in the 2 episodes, because at the time I'm like, what did they say?
The Mern. I'm not joking. The first episode, I was wrestling with the volume because I could not understand a lot of what these people were saying.
I feel like Holly Under is mumbling. And
Well, it's Holly Hunter's accent. She always
Yeah.
has that, that I don't know, that
She
drawl.
sounds like Carrie Fisher a bit.
Yeah, I guess. And then we cut to a scene with a small child whispering, talking, and the mother's whispering, talking. I'm like, what the fuck? And they're saying these alien planets. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck any character is saying in this show for the first 10 minutes, and then thankfully Paul Giamatti screams all of his lines. My favorite Paul Giamatti was during the trial and the mum being taken away, him just in the background going, bye bye mommy, bye bye mommy, bye bye, bye bye. It's like, you son of a bitch, Paul, you winning me over by just not giving a single fuck. He's like, I'm gonna eat the entire scene.
And also some of the stuff he's talking about is he actually did kind of care for them.
Yeah.
Oh, they were hungry, so I got them food.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, a good way to live the next decade and a half, hate me.
Yeah.
It'll keep you going.
it'll keep you warm at night.
It'll keep you warm
And
at
then
night.
at the end of the episode, he's like, good that you did that.
It worked so well for you. Look how jacked you are.
Fucking hell.
So You want to know about the burn,
Yes.
is what you actually want to
Is
know.
that a discovery thing? Or
Yes, that
okay.
is a discovery.
Yeah, what did you make of
thing.
it from what they described in these episodes?
That it was just some sort of like
Catastrophe?
yeah, minor apocalyptic event that changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Is this related? I know
its function.
when you guys are watching Discovery, you were like telling me some silly things. Was this the thing with a child like scream?
Yeah.
Yep.
I bet you dollars to donuts, they will never tell you what the
What?
burn actually
No.
was because it's so silly to say out loud, which
Yeah,
is
like
one day a child saw his mum died, screamed so loudly it made all the dilithium, which is basically the thing that fuels their
Yeah.
ships, explode. Or, well, it went inert and then made the ships explode. And then basically, it's like, what happens if today we ran out of oil? It would set us back.
But you just mentioned the thing about, like, you know, it was caused by someone being separated from their mum. I mean, that's the thing that this show kind of about. So
recurring ideas in these shows.
Yeah.
But so, any other questions in your mind that left out?
I mean, you already kind of just like the curiosity thing of like, so which of these races are like brand new? And you guys already kind of went into it. That's the Tug, right? The guy that turns into
Yep.
blue guy.
Yeah, blue guy and Genesis,
and-
the admiral's daughter.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm an admiral's daughter.
Okay. So like the whatever the race was in the second episode, the
Betazoids, they're an old
That's
one.
established.
That's
okay.
established.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't quite know their deal other than like sign language.
That's new.
That's
Yeah,
new. Okay.
That's her dad's
family thing.
Oh, okay.
That's we're doing representation aspect as well.
Okay.
Now, I think it's just time to just solidly get into this episode. Now, kids these days, weird episode. Weird episode because it's got a lot of hats to wear.
It goes through a lot of different phases. Like we have the sort of prologue of the 15 years earlier, the
Reestablishing who they are now.
Yeah. And Bartek, from your understanding at that point, what do you think the standing of Starfleet / the Federation is?
Well, obviously they're showing that it, at least at one point, wasn't necessarily like the pinnacle like righteousness, which I think from hearing what you guys were saying in recent shows, they've been doing that a bit more.
Oh, a lot more.
Yeah.
Was that the case in like the first couple, or were they kind of?
They've just been doing it for a very long time
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's like it's like we can't just have utopia be
We have to have it
utopia
be-
because that's
yeah.
not interesting enough.
Yeah, and the show. If we want to argue who the two main characters are, I guess there could be some debate. But if we just talk about Caleb, the kid who grows up, and Holly Hunter, like they both have certain grievances or guilt based on what the Federation did in that prologue. But they're still like working with it in the present. So there is this element of like, okay, going along with it, but also we have our own kind of drumbeat to march to.
This episode is very much like it's two episodes wrapped into one with a
Stitched
weird
together.
prologue that's also like that feels like from a previous iteration of this show. Like in my mind, that prologue is something that you would sprinkle throughout the show to give us an understanding of the character as we go along and why him and the Holly Hunter character and Paul Giamatti have this dynamic. But since
just
we know
tell us up
we,
front.
we know it from the very beginning, the rest of the time is spent with all of these characters reiterating that fact. And it feels very redundant because it's like, I know, I saw it. So when
Yeah.
Holly Hunter sits down for the fourth time with Caleb and reiterates her guilt, I'm like, I know, I was there when you talked to the bear, talked to the toy bear.
I was there when you talked to Vance.
Yeah, it's a lot of just repetition. And that's why, like, I think this episode frustrated me and got me annoyed a lot because they're circling over the same points again and again and again for seemingly no reason other than you have to fill up the time.
Yeah, I kind of, when I was talking before about like if we could mix these two episodes together, it would just be like, for the first episode, like take out the Paul Giamatti second half, maybe try to mix in a little bit of the character that's introduced in the second episode, just so we can have the first episode be like, hey, let's look at these characters a bit more. We could put aside Caleb and the Holly Hunter character for a while. Let's just, learn these characters a little bit more, have more of their introductions. Instead, like we said before, they kind of have little arcs of their own. Like, oh, this Klingon guy is like a bit more sensitive, but he has this struggle and he works through it. And like, oh, yay, good for him. And then in the second episode, he's like a cameo, basically.
Yeah,
It's like,
same with the
oh,
hologram girl.
Spread it out, because I guess on a vibe level, like, he was kind of one of my favorites going through it.
It means a warrior does not let a friend face danger alone.
Now I know, Rachel, when we were watching, you were kind of reacting a bit of a dissonance or like flip-flopping between the lead character of the show, because in the first episode, Holly Hunter and Caleb share lead character responsibility, and it feels weird that both of them are fighting for that spot.
Like at different points, both of them serve as the protagonist, but it doesn't feel like they are both the protagonist.
The back and forth of who the main character is doesn't really bother me that much. I think I've seen enough like ensemble stuff to where it kind of made sense to me. And when they do come together, there is, obviously they've got a bit of a dynamic going. She is more familiar with this world, and she like purposely left it behind because of principles. Like, I don't deserve to be here, but she's kind of dragged back. And he's not familiar with this world, and is kind of forced to be there because it'll get him what he wants. And they handle that in different ways where, she's very professional around the younger people, but around like the other people her age, she is a lot more loosey-goosey. Like in that second episode, there's a guy, I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
but like
stiff upper lip.
When I think
boss
of
guy.
Yeah, when I think of like, Star Trek, I think of, my idea of those first few shows where everyone is a bit more like stiff and professional. Not necessarily to a negative degree, but it felt like she was combating with like that generic Star Trek character there, where she's like not wearing regulation footwear,
sitting weird in the chair,
sitting weird, kicking her feet around,
wearing glasses.
And it contrasts heavily with like, oh, a cadet is in front of me now I'm the chancellor and I have to be authoritative. And, there's a bit of fun, duality to that character there. Whereas with our younger guy, he's a bit more, hot-headed. He has a goal that he wants to get to. Like, even when he's about to be reprimanded, he's like, I got information about like the goal that I've got. And it's like, now's not the time kind of thing. And seeing him struggle to adapt to the world, I guess that's something that appealed a bit more to me as like a newbie who's like, okay, I'm still getting to grips with this. If I was in this situation, like, I would be a bit more open, but, he's got the baggage there, so it's understandable.
I'm glad to hear that, because I must admit, I felt like just, this Caleb, this lead guy, I don't give a shit about this. Such a wet blanket to me. I'm a sucker for the authority figure who's having to manage the fact that they're an authority figure. I love those type of people. So she was one that I was drawn to more than angsty hothead guy who's going to save the day some way, somehow, by punching.
How did you not like the guy who's more like a Gundam protagonist?
How did I not love that? Rachel, one of the things that we have here to talk about is, and this is very important because it's one of the core reasons that Bartek is here, other than he's a newbie to Star Trek that I've been wanting as a friend. We've been wanting him to watch Star Trek in some ways, so we've roped him in by this, which is the G factor, Giamatti.
Yep.
This is the episode with a villain, like an actual villain, and he's like clearly the series-long villain.
Yeah, and it's just like they introduce him in the first episode, which feels like a weird choice.
I thought they were going to just have him in the prologue. And you go, okay, I understand he will return. Maybe you tease him at the very end of like, I hear rumblings that he escaped. But he's in this episode. And on a scale of 1 to a billion, how disappointed were both of you that he wasn't a teacher?
For me, it was a bit of an exaggeration. Like, he's going to be like an evil teacher or something like that. So on a level, I am disappointed that I was wrong about my joke, but I understand. It's fine.
I am disappointed because this means that we will have more sporadic Giamatti.
The credits, when it said like special guest role, I'm like, oh no. No, put him in the main. Make him main.
My heart is broken that he's not an evil teacher for all of these reasons, but also as an actor, he's so good at playing those type of roles.
He's from a family of teachers, I believe.
Yeah, and
Oh.
he's so good at playing those roles, but he's also good as snarling criminal bad guys. This
Yeah.
is shoot 'em up Giamatti level
Yeah, I was
acting
thinking
in
that,
this.
yeah.
He was the shining light of this first episode. He is eating the entire scenery. He's saying any line in the most abstract, bizarre way possible. The origami chicken thing makes no sense. I don't know what the fuck. Like,
Right.
it's one of those things where his lines are objectively terrible. Like, he has
Oh,
awful lines,
yeah.
but he is playing it with this level of who gives a fuck about the lines? I'm gonna make like little noises while I say the
Which
lines. I'm gonna just like
It's
do little
pretty
hip
much
thrusts.
what Bartek thought. Like when I was just like, but what if Giamatti says the worst line? And Bartek was like, well, no, it can't be him because it's
I just
him.
yeah, I like it. Guys, I don't even remember this origami chicken thing, but I just liked him.
He has
It was funny.
The first thing he does when he holograms on the ship is like, look who it is. It's you from my past. You know what time is like? It's like an origami chicken. He goes on this whole
Folds
thing.
back on itself.
and then he
in
says-
other words, payback's a bitch.
Yeah, like, in other words, payback's a bitch.
Yeah, I remember
And it's like,
that
what
line,
the
but-
fuck? And he keeps talking about origami
and
chickens.
then she does a callback to the origami chicken.
Yeah, she's like, now your origami chicken folds in on itself. It's like, oh, it's like, what does that mean? But he says it whilst also going cluck cluck in a line. I'm like, okay, he's now doing like chicken wing motions. Okay, great. I love
It's
this.
just Paul doing his thing.
They handed him these metal fingertip props. And he just said, "Oh, I'm going to use those in every single line." He's like watching a teenager in a drama class, and you hand them a prop and like, okay, now make a scene out of this, and they're just going to overuse it, and it kind of turns around to being charming again. And that's with Paul Giamatti with these metal things in his fingertips.
I
It's just
remember-
like clink clink clink.
I remember the first time I ever did work as like an extra in a TV show was for
Mhm.
Neighbours. And one of the last scenes I did was I was sitting in like the courtyard of a school with a girl next to me with a violin. And they're just like, oh, hold the violin and just have a chat or something. And I noticed that the violin was like messed up, like the strings were all
Mhm.
weird. So I was just like, oh, I'll use this. I'll just be like really upset that my violin's broken. I'll like strum it a little bit. And that was my first instance of someone saying like, hey, the microphone's hearing that. Don't strum that.
Less is more.
Yeah, so I was just pretending to strum it and just be sad.
Aww. And Giamatti,
Learned from me.
what do you actually think of him as this villainous force? What do you actually think of him outside of just like we like him as an actor?
Mm.
What do you make of this character?
It's a very obvious question to ask, but now that you're asking, like, I like Giamatti kind of answer.
He's just a scumbag
Yeah,
guy who's like, I'm
just-
evil.
He's just someone that can like really drive the knife into the heart of like, yeah, you fucked up in the past, and I'm a physical, personified reminder of that.
Like, other than he says that,
Yeah.
how does he actually demonstrate any of that? He just says that. He just goes, you fucked up in the past. That's it. That's
Yeah,
all he does. And then he
that's-
goes, by the way, I don't give a shit about that. I'm here to steal your thing for profit.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
It's up to the rest of this show to turn him into the next Moriarty or something.
He's not particularly cunning. He's just loud and obnoxious. And other than I love the actor, like, what about this character so sterling of a villainous force? I'm like, oh, I need to see them. I need to see them mess with these
Nothing.
Academy
I
kids.
only want to see him again because it's Giamatti. Are they poorly writing him to be nihilistic? Is that what it is?
At least from a standpoint early on, I don't know what he wants other than profit. Like, that's really all he wants. And at the end, he clearly wants, more revenge? Because he went into an escape pod and you have, like, this mirrored shot of his snarling face, literally snarling face. And I'm like, yeah, they outdid you, but not in the most, like, devastating way that I would go, oh, I can't wait for this guy
That
to
annoyed
get
me
his revenge.
because I was just like, they have their shit back. They can just grab the escape pod. There seems to be nobody else around.
They could just transit. Like you said it. They used the tractor beam to bring the guy from outside of the ship in. Why can't they just tractor beam this escape pod that's going
It's just
very
like, oh,
slowly?
they're distracted.
The ship's rebooting.
He has the ability to hack.
Mm-hmm. He has the ability
He
to
could just
communicate and say
ask
he's in an escape pod.
Genesis because she's hooked into the system.
Yeah, just grab him. Yeah, these are. But Rachel,
But it's like, no. He's got to get away so he can come back later.
Paul Giamatti will return in Star Trek Starfleet Academy in episode 4.
I am also wondering if his mum, like Caleb's mum, is going to turn out to be evil
I bet you there's going to be some bullshit where it's
or
like...
corrupted from her time in prison, at least.
But I know this show, they're going to reveal some bullshit where it's like, actually, she's the granddaughter of Boothby, and like crap like that. They're going to reveal, like, Caleb, you're actually the special one because your mother...
I got so annoyed at the Boothby reveal in the second episode.
I mentioned in our last discussion that there was a groundskeeper at Starfleet Academy that every captain had called Boothby. In the second episode of this show, there's this pan-out shot where there's Boothby Memorial Park, because he's a character that everyone knows from the
I think
Starfleet
I remember the
Academy.
name, but it didn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, and I was just like, he wouldn't get that. The whole point of his character was he was unassuming, and the institution itself didn't recognize him, but these individual characters did, and there was like this special bond between these... He was like a secret at the Academy. Like, he worked there, but he was like this little secret that these characters had. But either way...
The important thing is what you did with your life afterwards. Seems you did okay. That's thanks enough for me.
So I wrote down a bunch of characters
Mhm.
so that we could go quickly through what we thought of each of them. But obviously, it's 2 episodes in. They are not great at making it clear who some of these people are or what they're about.
Or they make it too clear.
Or they just repeat information. That's the way that they achieve clarity, is just through damn repetition.
Okay, so...
So, first up, I wrote down Darem. Who was this?
Was it Darem or Darum?
Yeah, Darem?
Who was this character?
The name's familiar. Was she the girl in the second episode?
Nope.
No.
By the sound of it, it's a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've immediately shut down girl. Is that... Is that the British guy? Who's like the asshole?
The jerk
The
jock.
jerk guy?
Fish boy.
Fish boy, is that what we're calling? Yeah, I guess blue guy?
Mhm.
The guy who's like,
That's, yeah.
oi, you!
I believe
Oi.
so. It would be really sad if I get this wrong too.
I believe so.
I loved him in the first episode where it's like Caleb just like, hello, I'm a character. And he's like, oi, you want more? You want more?
I'm name drop my species, bitch.
Yeah,
Okay.
He's immune from my criticism because in the episode 0, I blindly said that he's going to have the cringiest line, so I'm rooting for him to have the cringiest
Well, he did say
line.
bitch a lot.
But
Yeah.
here's the problem, though. He says that line, I'm whatever, bitch, but then Genesis calls back to it, and I think calling back to it is cringier than that line. So it's like, fuck, he's got
Okay.
one-upped.
Okay.
Jaden.
There was a Jaden, wasn't there?
Yeah, who's I know who Jaden is. Jaden.
Was that the Klingon?
Yeah. And what's his deal, Bartek?
He's from like the Samurai Bushido clan, the
Mhm.
Klingons, but he's a bit more sensitive. He's like into bird watching, and he wants to like live a long life rather than die
in honor and battle?
grace.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He wants to study medicine, and that makes him weird because usually Klingons want to be warriors, and he's like, why would you want to be a healer? That's for pussies. And he's like, I am a pussy, but I want to live long as a pussy. He's like, okay, thank you.
I remember in episode 0, like some of you were nervous that like, oh, he's gonna be embarrassing.
Oh,
Look at
he's
that-
going to be the cringiest one for me.
okay.
Because he was so smooth, and he looks like
Oh.
such a well-kept, like... I got so annoyed where it's like,
The
oh...
voice modulation,
no,
is
no,
this
no.
where it's going?
No, where it's like, you children, you need to have regulation haircuts and outfits, and then when they get transported, it just happens while they get transported?
Yeah, that threw me off.
That felt like a violation.
What? You can't do that. You can't do that. That's not how that technology works, but also you can't just do that because you're robbing us of the scene
Yeah,
where they cut his hair
I thought the same
Full
thing.
Metal Jacket style. We
Yeah,
even
no.
evoke Full Metal Jacket with the number one lady being the drill instructor who's yelling at them.
Mhm.
You cut out that scene. Why did you do
Yeah,
that?
I predicted that in episode 0.
Jaden annoys me because his name is Jaden, but with a dash in it, and it's supposed to be his Klingon name. No Klingon is ever called Jaden. That's not. They're usually called
Well,
Worf.
I can think of one.
You proved me wrong. Okay, yeah. What else, Rachel? Who else do we have? We have others.
Sam!
Sam?
That's Mickey Mouse.
Because
What?
yeah, she's got the hair.
Not Minnie Mouse.
People know Mickey more.
Because she's a
There's a chance
girl?
people hear Minnie
She
Mouse.
wasn't wearing a bow.
Yeah, Ryan.
I say her name loudly because technically it's an acronym.
Yeah, like something.
yeah.
Yeah,
Who-
yeah,
I
it's
didn't
a three-letter acronym.
I didn't
so
get a
it is
single one of the
something,
three.
something.
It was
Simulation, something.
So her deal is she's the first ever holographic
Yep.
student.
She's a couple of months old, programmed to be 17.
She
so
bonds-
that they
yeah.
act like a child.
and she doesn't know how to feel about that because she's got the wisdom of a computer, but also the temperament of a 17-year-old
And then naivety
of a 4-month-year-old.
And she's got a
4-month-year-old?
she's got a
because she's only 4 months old.
Yeah, but 4-month-year-old?
Oh, sorry, 4-month-old.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, I
That
said-
was just such a I'm like,
If you
you
let
a
me-
Starfleet Academy writer?
Yeah,
Star
thanks.
Trek Starfleet Academy writer? I fucked up the title trying to illustrate how the title is
Wait,
fine.
Rachel,
Yum Fleet Academy.
How could you screw it up? It rolls off the tongue. Star Trek Starfleet Academy. No, I like this character well enough. Like, I like that she actually got stuff to do in the episode. Like, she obviously had a lot of banter with characters. Like, she was the one that actually engaged with,
It
like, the
annoys
teachers.
me that she's being
Hmm.
bullied because
I mean, she's annoying.
yeah, she is annoying, but it feels like that's yet another reason why this show makes sense in the timeline where it does, because that social cohesion is gone.
I also appreciate her because she's the most sci-fi character, and you can't separate the sci-fi-ness from her character.
No,
While with the others, it is a real case of, oh, this plot reason now can justify me being a sci-fi character, like with Darum, where he suddenly goes, oh, my race can survive outside in space for 8 minutes. I'm saying this now because it's relevant. While with her character, her very nature, her very existence, you can't just... It's baked into what she is. So from a sci-fi perspective, very tantalizing. And even with the Klingon, like Bartek said, there's like that samurai-esque nature to him that's also inherently baked in, that you can't separate as easily just from the mentality. So with her, I enjoyed her well enough, but she is annoying.
She
Like,
is the
that's-
one that has to grow on me the most, I think, at this point. But then, on the other hand, as much as we make fun of that poster, like, she's the one best captured in it.
Yeah,
She's the one with the open mouth and like, she's so happy to be there. It's like, oh, you're actually that in the show.
She's the one that also
Yeah.
wants to engage with the Academy side of the Starfleet Academy
I was
show.
gonna say she has a dynamic with the opera doctor guy.
Yep, that's the Doctor. One of my favorite characters from Star Trek is the Doctor. He's that
All right,
guy.
so he's from something.
He's from
Yeah.
Voyager.
that's
Yeah.
Robert
They-
Picardo.
and they
Yeah.
explain it in the episode where she's like, "Hey, weren't you the first ever Mark hologram?" Blah blah blah. And
She was talking way too fast for me. to
Yeah.
get that.
You need, and he basically says yes.
See,
Yeah.
so, and he's called the Doctor, right?
Yeah, because
Yep.
he doesn't have a name.
See, in episode 0, when you said, "Are you excited for the Doctor?" I thought you were talking about like an archetypal thing, like, oh, every show has the Doctor character.
That's
like,
how it is, and
Yeah,
he was
but-
to
but
the
he's
extent
the
where
But he's
Doctor.
actually called the
Yeah.
Doctor.
that's the joke of you hit it. Every one of these shows has the archetypical, and there's the Doctor. And the thing with him was in Voyager, he is an emergency medical hologram who then has to become the Doctor because there is no Doctor. They died.
Oh, okay.
And he has to stay on. And there's a joke in Voyager that he's going to pick a name, and he goes through like 4 or 5 different names, and always just
ongoing
goes back
thing.
to the Doctor works.
Yeah.
Is Voyager one of the better shows? Or
It's contentious. I love it, but it's
Okay.
contentious.
Yeah, it's
But
one of my
he was
favorites.
my favorite of these episodes. I loved the Doctor. He was so well realized. You can tell, and maybe even if you didn't realize he was a legacy character, you can just tell from that actor's performance. He knows who this
there
guy
was a
is.
comfort in the performance.
He's also,
yeah.
and Bartek even hit it. He's one of the few actors in this show, and I'm even putting Giamatti in here, who knows how to say his lines at a steady pace and enunciate those
Yeah.
lines. He's the one that I didn't have to struggle understanding what he said at any point.
I love him sadly trying to get people to sign up to the opera club
No one
or
wants to.
elective.
Was he an opera guy in Voyager as
Mhm.
well?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Robert Picardo does singing
Right,
in opera,
okay.
so it's one of those you bring it in.
So it's
So
like, oh, he's doing the thing.
one of my favorite
Okay.
episodes is in Voyager is they encounter a society that has no concept of music, and they worship him as a god because he can sing and do
Oh, I
music, and
think
it's
you
this
told me about
foreign
this,
concept
yeah.
to them. And he just is relishing it. He's like,
Does
do I
he-
stay as a god?
Is it jarring seeing him in this show? Well, first of all, does the show have a different tone to Voyager?
Yes, but
Yes.
he feels pretty on brand for what
Yeah,
he
like,
was.
he's-
He was snarky.
He's what he is.
Okay.
Very much in line with the conversation that they have in the lift,
hmm
where she just doesn't want to engage with him, is very much a lot of the conversations that people have with the Doctor in Voyager.
Okay, that's good to hear. Because
It's also the performance. Like, he still feels the
Yes.
same, even if maybe the humor is different. He
Mhm.
delivers it in the same comedic delivery as he
'cause,
used to.
because as I understand it, the show Picard kind of gets the characters wrong.
Oh boy, do they!
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not the case here.
No.
No, I feel like they did justice to him so far. We'll see if
Okay.
he does anything insane.
I liked his singing in the second episode. That was fun. It's also kind of that thing of like, oh, I want to see this in full, but also I guess the show medium is not really the best place to do it. So it's just
No.
in the background while a scene's happening.
I know,
And we
I
get
was
it
just
twice.
I said, yeah, they go back
They
to
know
it.
that you want more of it.
I
so-
want more of it, but I understand that it would ruin the episode. a little.
Other characters we got here.
Lura.
I don't know who Laura is.
Is she the girl from the second episode?
Is she the Betazoid?
No.
Are we just talking about
Oh,
the
wait.
first episode?
Oh,
Or-
Laura's the drill instructor.
Yes.
Laura Thok. The
Oh, the cadet master.
The
cadet
cadet-
master.
yeah, I love having so many thick British accents in this show.
I couldn't tell if it was like South African or British.
No,
but I
she's
guess
like, British. Yeah, I love just having two thick British accents being like bullying Caleb, the main character. I think that's very, very funny that you have like his roommate is like, you what? You what? You come in here, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck you up. And then the cadet master who's got her own fucked up British accent. And then Holly Hunter's just like a weird southern lady who's like, alrighty, I'm gonna mumble my lines and walk around without shoes. Okay. And Rachel, I see
Tarima.
is that the Betazoid?
Yes.
I could not tell you her name. And you have Genesis here.
Yes, I
Genesis
do.
was the one I think I liked the most out of
Mhm.
the cadets that like was less defined. Like
Hmm.
in terms of like she was pretty well defined in the first episode, didn't exist in the second episode outside of giving longing looks of like I thought I was your romantic interest.
Yeah, I didn't like that, and the way that the first episode tees up a potential like love triangle between Dareem, Caleb, and Genesis.
Would you mind turning around?
Why?
I just don't want you falling in love with me, girl.
I think we're safe.
Can you just turn around, please?
Bartek, your favorite character was the dean of the academy whose voice we hear throughout every single scene.
Dean of Students.
Dean of Students.
Mr. Colbert.
Yeah, did that distract you? I was
Not
thrown.
really.
I was thrown off to hear
I-
Stephen Colbert
I was
throughout the
thrown
entire
every
episode.
time.
I was like, Colbert's here.
Not really. The only line that I really remember is like, reminder cadets that curfew is at 10. If you're thinking of violating
Oh,
it,
they didn't
don't.
say 10. They
Sorry,
you-
2200 or
My,
whatever.
I got really
Yeah.
upset. I think it's in the second episode. It's my yum, where he said, "Don't forget that being hangry is serious." I'm like, don't you fucking say that the word hangry
It
exists.
sounds like something he wrote, probably.
Oh, please. Now, Rachel, what do you have to say about the second episode, Beta Test?
Oh god, I do not like that title. Is Caleb a star-crossed lover or just a tour guide? It's okay, because Harry Kim was eventually an admiral.
For those who haven't watched the episode, that's exactly what happened. Those two things were equally as important as one another. Kind of. Like, the whole star-crossed lovers, blah, 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 like, ooh, this woman who's from a society that can't be in our group, love, is treated with as much reverence as here's the wall of all of these names of people who got promotions since you've seen them last. Oh, George. Oh, look at that. They even mentioned the Sulu's daughter. Oh,
I thought there were two Sulus. Like, wait.
yeah,
do
Sulu has a daughter.
Okay.
Rachel, you already said that you're not a fan of this title. What do you think of the episode?
It was boring. It was boring, and it set up so few things that it felt like, why is this its own episode? I get it, but also it's like you spent so much of the last episode setting up all of these other things, and it's just like, and here's one more.
Yeah,
But we're not going to do much more with her.
it was very weird. I remember I finished that first episode and I felt like, oh, I've been introduced to every character. Let's go back to that poster and like point out like, oh, I know all of you now. And there was one girl that, like, wait, I don't know you. There's one character that, like, I actually remember that there was one person on that poster that was wearing like a different uniform, like they have a white one.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like Genesis. Like, oh, Genesis is going to get like a promotion really quick and she's going to get like that white uniform. But no, the white uniform person was someone completely different.
And I guess that's the War College uniform.
Yeah, because she goes to the War College. No, that's her Betazoid outfit,
Oh,
right?
yeah, it
She's
is.
a youth member of the Betazoid party. But this episode, man, I understood exactly what it was doing. I understood why it was structured the way it was. I know exactly what's going on, and I don't give a fuck. I was so disengaged and bored to tears. And one of my big bugbears with modern Star Trek is they throw in these things, and I think it's going to matter to the episode itself, but either it's set up for later or it's just a thing that's in there. Quintessential example, the Doctor, he gives us his lesson and he's like, here, you have all of these mucus things. Here's all of these goos. And he gives us the rundown of this, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do that. And my brain, as someone who watches television, I'm like, great. They're going to use that as a joke, but it's going to be story relevant later.
No,
No, you idiot.
it's
Why would you
just-
think that?
No,
we
just-
just spent
the
5
gag.
minutes
Just
at the
2
beginning,
scenes
set
later.
it up.
Yeah.
But Bartek, were you bored by a beta test?
What did you feel?
I wasn't really bored by it. Like I said, the tone of this one was kind of what I wanted more of for like the beginning of a show. The issue being obviously that like, oh, I wanted like more of the cast to be prevalent in this episode while having this kind of tone, but we already had like kind of, mini arcs for them in the first one, so we just stuck with a couple in this one. A lot of the nuances of what the plot was kind of went over my head. Like I kept hearing like Betazoid and stuff. I don't know their deal. I know that there's context in the...
Well, they
No.
don't really follow the deal of them properly anyway.
It just feels like there was so much discussion that I missed something. But I was just like, I trust... There's like a negotiation. If they clap at the end, it went well. If not, then it didn't.
No, before we even
that's
but I want to press him on this. What was the deal? What are the Betazoids? What's their problem? And how do
what's
they actually
your
go...
understanding?
And how do they go about fixing that problem that's the thrust of the episode? Like, what is their deal? What's their problem? And how does it get fixed?
Good question, Ryan. I feel like I just asked that, though.
Yeah, but like
No,
that's the
no,
problem. You
yeah.
watch the episode.
Yeah.
You're a
Okay,
newcomer,
so
and it's
what-
supposed to be laid out in a way that's very
Okay, well,
clear.
let's start
Why
with-
doesn't
with-
it do that? Or how does it fail?
like they show that the Betazoids from Beta Z
Mm-hmm.
have certain abilities. What are those abilities? With your current understanding, what do you think?
They also said
they-
them aloud. Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned the thing before about like they use sign language, but you said that's just this family, so it's not the race. There was something about like she has a thing on her neck that stops her from doing a thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Is something about
But
that.
why did she know that the whale was pregnant, Bartek?
To me, I don't know if there was an explanation there, but I just took it as like, oh, this race seems to be a bit more like, I don't know, mystically, or have like a higher understanding of like life forms or something. Like I'm kind of...
She's meant to be a telepath.
they mentioned something about that.
They said that they're a race of empaths.
Empaths, they said that.
But
Which is that you can feel other people's feelings.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
You can sense feelings and motions rather than read minds per se. You can
Which-
read emotional
Yeah.
the
reactions.
Betazoids originally were meant to be full telepaths.
Mhm.
But then there is a character that's half human, half Betazoid, and she is just empathetic.
Is that this girl that we're talking about?
No,
in Star Trek The Next Generation, when the Betazoids were introduced, they did this show does, someone who's mixed, like half this, half that. Instead of having an OP telepath character on the ship, how about we have her be half Betazoid? So she's,
Is
that
she that
Deanna Troy.
Troy.
Troy, and she is empathic. So she's the one that stands there going, Captain, I feel like they're lying. And it's like, thank you, Deanna Troy. And she's the counselor.
Yeah.
And the writers of this show clearly did not know that only she's an empathic because she's half. The race are telepathic, so they talk to each other in their minds.
So she only has like half the powers.
Yeah, but they also don't have one of the other tells of a full Betazoid, which is
No, just Betazoid in general.
black eyes.
Yeah, Betazoids have only two things that are their thing. They read minds, and they have black eyes, like black irises.
But none of the Betazoids in this
like
episode.
And in
had
this
it.
show,
You were telling me something about this like a month or so
in
ago.
this show, they didn't do either of those things. They said they're a race of empaths, which they're not. They're a race of telepaths, and they have black eyes, which they don't. So it's like the literal two things you need to do, like
Right.
you can't avoid doing. They fuck it up.
Yeah, but you don't have black eyes if you do sign language.
And they reference little things that are true about them that you can get rid of. Like, you don't
The
need to
naked weddings.
Yeah, like, it's a big thing that Betazoids, when they do their weddings, they do them naked. And they have a line in this episode about that, and he goes, oh, that sounds uncomfortable for everyone involved. And she chuckles about it because they're very free-going.
She was very manic pixie dream girly at the beginning.
Oh, throughout.
You're literally on the fence.
But, like, why I'm grilling you about this is, like, you're a newcomer. This should be very simple. Like, the problem is simple. This race used to be one of the core members of the Federation. The burn happened. They got fucked over especially hard, so they left and became super isolationist, and now we're asking them to come back. And the irony being, this group of people who are very telepathic, well, in this case, empathic, very emotionally, connective, are being selfish.
Right.
They're saying, I want to do this. If I join the Federation, it's got to be for this reason, this reason, this reason.
So for someone who's been a fan for a long time, it's like, man, this race is like fallen to this level. Like, things must be really bad, kind of vibe.
And even then, like the Betazoid culture race, you don't see that much of that side of it in the other show. So it's not like a big, oh my god, the Betazoids acting like jerks. I can believe that.
Yeah.
I can believe that to an extent because they're highly emotional people too, as we see in this. But like this episode, like
And
that should be
we
the
see in Voyager how they can be capable of extreme violence as well.
Yeah, we see this throughout, but this is getting into the weeds of the matter here. Well, the thing is, this story should be that's in the background, and it's about this blossoming romance between a woman on one side of the aisle and the guy on the other side of the aisle. And Holly Hunter's trying to capitalize on that. Like, she's like, notices after a certain point, ooh, you've got an in with her. But then our main character, Caleb's like, no, I'm going to use her for my own means, which is to find my mum. And then Holly Hunter's like, this isn't about you.
That is what
it's about the Federation.
His journey is. His journey in this episode is to learn that he should make his bed.
Well, figuratively as well as literally, like it's you want
get
to
off the fence and make your bed.
It's a bit, yeah. It's a lesson about you are being selfish. You are seeing this very sensitive matter, this intergalactic matter. This is real proper shit, and you're using it to benefit your own selfish means, which is to find your mum. Which ties into like what I thought was actually one of the best scenes, which is when he is forced to play the teacher role in the
Tig's just like, come on, you do it. You tell us who you are.
You think you're so important. How about you tell everyone what we should know?
I did enjoy one
I thought that
of
was
her
the best
lines of like sulking with a monopoly on suffering or something like that.
Being a cadet in Starfleet Academy means being open to the people around you. And that connection is where time and space really live.
I don't need connection.
Yeah. You're a genius who owns all the suffering.
In execution, somehow you and I found it boring, and Bartek couldn't comprehend some of the core elements that were in the story itself. And like,
In terms of,
why does it
yeah.
come to that? Well, how come that happens when we sit down and we can break it down? These sound tantalizing, and yet not so much. Not fully, at least.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, all of the negotiation stuff, it's kind of like how I was wording it before. Like, depending on how everyone's acting at the ending, I'll know if, yay, something good happened. I did get the sense that, like, oh, yeah, they're trying to, like, bring them into an alliance of some sort. For me, like, the point of this episode was about, like, you know, the guy and girl's relationship.
Yeah, that felt more important than the diplomacy, but the lesson that he is meant to learn is that no, that was more important than just you, but also it worked out in your favor as well, because now you have this thing that you wanted.
I find it a bit crossed because with what Bartek's saying, you know, this relationship between him and her, he is still using this girl that he's just met so that he can get his end goal of his mother. Like, she hands over like this important Betazoid information, and now he can find, oh, this random place that the Federation doesn't know about, the Betazoids know about. Now I can do the stuff with my mum. This character, this Betazoid character, she still likes him. There's no conflict between them two. There's no moment where it's like, oh, you're using me.
Yeah,
She's happy the whole time.
She accuses him.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel...
And that's what I was getting to. Like, right, for people that don't know, Ryan and I have another podcast, Spit and Polish Presents. We review movies. We've done it for a very long time. And we have certain tropes that we refer back to, like, oh, they're doing this again. I was watching this episode. I wasn't thinking about the trope that, you know, I'm about to mention. But when it happened, I'm like, oh, we're doing a third act breakup? Like, it felt so out of nowhere. Like,
where's the story?
Like, she has the, you know, she initiates that third act breakup thing from him revealing information about himself. And the issue was that he didn't reveal it earlier. And even his reaction is like, I'm telling you now.
Oh, like, I didn't feel comfortable telling you earlier. I just met you.
I didn't even consider that, like, oh, he's like manipulating her. I just thought, like, oh, they're getting along and she's helping him with something.
Yeah,
and there's a like tit for tat and building trust.
Yeah,
but then she just assumes that he would have disclosed everything about himself in the several hours that they've spent together.
I literally
She's a diplomat's daughter. He's actually being pretty considerate, like in the circumstances.
Going back to me, like, not knowing this race, I literally thought, like, oh, this is like a cultural thing, right?
No.
Like, no, this was meant to be like a human
It's just
thing.
this is what happens in the script now.
Yeah,
but
I
didn't,
literally...
like with the mucus, I'm not joking, like with the mucus, they didn't tell the story. They didn't tell that story enough. They didn't delve into that story enough. Like, we needed more because...
They showed us bits of it.
Yeah, they showed us enough to technically say it happened. Like, the mucus thing technically paid off.
The other people's reactions tell us more than their scenes together actually do. I feel like all of the visual language is telling me, oh, they're attracted to each other, they're getting to know each other, maybe this will develop into a romantic relationship. But the idea of it being like a star-crossed lovers aspect and doomed from the start and ill-advisable and deceitful, that I get more from what other characters say about their relationship.
Or how they react to him, like Holly Hunter, you know, at the end being like, this isn't about you. Very memorable moment because it's her no longer feeling the guilt enough to put her foot down with him. She's been
like,
kind of dancing around
I'm letting go of that. I'm letting go of the little boy that I lost.
Because another scene I really liked, or I thought worked well, was the one-sided conversation between Caleb and the Chancellor with Holly Hunter, where, you know, he dismisses himself, and she's like, "You can't do that." I was like, "I just did." Like, that whole back and forth kind of showed like she's not willing to fully put down her authority with him because she does feel this personal guilt. But this moment later on, that's evaporated. She says, "You've gone too far. This isn't about you. Can't you give a shit about this?" But then also we're going to have a little scene where he's playing with his zipper like an idiot, and then she gives him looks like, "Buh." And I'm like, no, tonally fix what you're doing. Fix it up. Like, the romance, though, this third act breakup, fine. Okay, if that doesn't work, did you like their romance? Did you feel like you gained much from them or understanding of these individual characters like meeting eye to eye with each other?
It was okay. I just liked that there was like a sort of new dynamic happening. Like, in the first episode, it was kind of just like friendship or acquaintances. Like, okay, we've got a bit of a romance thing going on here. They are kind of cuddling on the poster, so let's see where this goes. But again, it's like on a superficial level. Like, okay, we're getting along. We're getting a different side to our main character who, despite being in this place where the main goal is like, we're preparing you to become soldiers isn't the right word, is it?
Officers.
We're preparing you to become Starfleet people, but you've got your own agenda, and that's at fault with everything. And here we have a character who isn't, furthering that goal of turning him into a Starfleet officer. So
they're outside of it. Yeah.
So he can show like a more sensitive side where it's like, oh, I don't have to follow your rules.
Yeah.
For myself, I think I liked him with Genesis more because they got to know each other through a journey, through a plot. Like, I really liked in the first episode, she is like given to us in earlier scenes almost like this capitalistic character. It's like, what is that, jokingly so, like, you're giving your friendship away for free, like that interaction with Sam. And then when she does it with Caleb, but then it's like a little twist and, it's a little bit fun how she kind of plays with him and like, hey, you're breaking into this place to use communications. You can't do that. What will you pay me to not tell? And like she gives all these ludicrous amounts of stuff. That's telling us, but it's also showing us. And then they have a plot together where they solve a crisis. You understand, okay, I understand why these two are romantically. This episode is just these two characters meet, and then because they're both hot, they must now interact. Like, that's how it feels to me. It's just, they're both hot. She's going to wear the very revealing outfit and spin around, and then we're supposed to say, I guess they like each other, but I didn't actually have a story. There was no story for me.
You know what you wanted, Ryan? The scene in the class where, he's, getting told off, like, you teach the lesson. When the teacher points to, what is her name? That's the start of a new romance.
You joke, but it could be. Like, that would be an interesting...
Because she's like the background, like, running joke kind of character who's like, oh, I'm nervous.
Yeah, I'm a nervous...
It's like, oh, but now I'm the main girl.
She the one that ate her badge?
Yes, the doctor's like, already? There was the second episode I did like because, as well, I have problems with it, but I also did like, we actually spent time at the academy, we were in classes.
Yeah.
We got to see teachers, we actually had scenes with, like, points.
How many scenes in classrooms do we have? Because it was more...
I think it was like 3.
Yeah, because you lowballed that.
I thought there was going to be 5 in the show.
I don't remember what I was guessing in the episode 0, but we did at least have 2 in this episode.
Yeah,
right?
Sorry,
I had 2 or 3.
We had the doctors in that one.
Yeah, the engineer.
Yeah.
Talking about time and all of that. Yeah, it was... Yeah. And the boot camp sequence.
Oh, yes,
as well.
that's a good one. Yeah, the girl runs
you
away
thought
crying.
that was just going to be for War College? No!
See, that was at Boothby Memorial Park.
Yeah.
I can spot the runner.
I will say this, when we have that first episode on this ship, I'm like, okay, I kind of like the look of this ship. It's kind of like a very, like, modern-y, more flashy Babylon 5 kind of thing. Like, I kind of like this setting. And then when they land at San Francisco at the end, I'm like, oh yeah, the school's at, like, on Earth, so we're probably not going to see this much, but... No, the school is kind of just on the ship, so...
Yeah. You know what devastates me, though? We're technically in outside locations, but it's not real. Because they're in a digital environment, like when he's jumping the fence and tricking the hologram, like that's technically supposed to be the real world, like outside in Los Angeles, on campus.
San Francisco.
San Francisco. They're in San Francisco, of course, the song said. And they're playing hacky sack and frisbee because it's college. Do you get it? That's what they do. But you just know they're on the volume. They've got the television screen around them. Nothing looks real. It just doesn't, like, I feel claustrophobic in this show because nothing feels outside, yet we're technically on Earth. Well, not in space anymore.
Yeah.
We're on Earth,
It does have
but
a
there
weird...
is no Earth.
I mean, I guess it kind of added to like the futuristic vibe that like, oh, this doesn't feel like natural, but I can see that being a criticism as well, yeah.
The logs say you hacked the exits on
3 separate occasions in the last 12 hours.
Told me to find hobbies.
You have too much spare time, Cadet?
One of the major recurring things in this episode is he is now roommates with the asshole guy he doesn't like. Did we spend any scenes of them actually being roommates in the episode?
No, I was so confused by how much time passed in this episode, because it's just like they have that initial thing of going to the rooms and him opening up the doors and seeing the guy and then being, oh, fuck this. And then it feels like time passes and then they end up in the Chancellor's office. And they're like, he did this and this and this
We didn't
and
see
this. And it's just like, wait, but how much time had passed? Why didn't you get rooms the day that you arrived? Where did everybody sleep last night?
That's a great... And there was this moment where he was trying to bond with the Betazoid girl with like, look, I found the whales because I realized I have a tough time falling asleep at this place. Like, when did you discover that? It feels like you've only been here a day. And his conflict with this guy at the end is resolved because he comes in and they're all like bros and joking around and having a good time. But we never actually got the story.
Yeah.
The Slice of Life Academy story of seeing them, oh, he makes the bed messy and they have a fight or anything. They just say that happens off screen.
They
don't
even
get
do
the story.
They even do a weird thing where they throw a ratchet in their dynamic that we didn't really get to see, which is the third roommate that we haven't really talked about.
The Betazoid chick's brother, yeah.
Where it's like, oh, the things
like,
seem a little bit more friendly now. He breaks his trophy. He's like, that's all right.
Yeah, he breaks things a lot. And I'm like, is that ever going to be important or is that always just going to be a joke?
It just bothers me because why don't you show these things and yet you bring them up? Like, I know that you, Bartek, were a little bit like overwhelmed by, oh, we're now introducing one of the main characters in the second episode. But honestly, I think you could have introduced her in an episode or two later down the road and have this type of episode be nothing but him getting acclimatized to living on campus. Oh, no, I've got to live with the asshole.
He's never had a bed before.
Yeah, he's never had a bed.
Yeah, it says a lot about a character.
But we don't see it. We just get told.
No, he's had no bed, but he got game.
I want to see him be restless at sleep. I want to see him lay in a bed and not feel comfortable in it and go on a walk and discover the academy, and we discover it with him. But instead, we get little scenes where characters are like, here's this place of the academy. I'm showing this other character. It's like, why don't we get to experience our main character discovering the place for himself? But instead,
he gives a tool.
He gives a tool to someone else. This is what I mean. It drives me nuts because it's like you have the pieces there, but you did it wrong. That's all I have to say. Bartek, any final thoughts on Beta Test, the second episode of Star Trek Starfleet Academy?
You guys kind of already talked about it, but that scene where he does, have to, you give to class, like, it was a fun scene. As a teacher, seeing that teacher, like, she kind of seems like a, stoic, monotonous kind of character, but, like, the dynamic she has with that student who's, like, kind of acting up, like, it felt very familiar. And even on his part, like, I think it's when he dismisses himself and leaves and like just does this big, gesture of like, I feel like I've seen kids on my job do that.
I laughed because it was so dumb when he doubles back because he's realized that he's gone the wrong way after dismissing himself. I'm like, it's so dumb, but it got me.
There was just little moments like that I would have loved to have seen more, like with the mucus stuff. When he gets it all on him, the hologram thing immediately pops up and sprays him, but I kind of wanted to see him have to go all the way to them and get it sorted out. Like, these are the
very automated
slice of life living on campus scenes that could make it better.
I appreciated the way that he overloaded the hologram.
It feels cruel when one of his technically one of his friends is a hologram. He could do that to himself. Like, he could do that to Sam. Like, could he just technically lobotomize his friend? Because he treats...
So, hold on. So, are the holograms, like, the one that he overloads, are they, like...
people?
they are just people. They're not like
But they're sort
AI?
of treated as like
They're treated as lesser
less-
than still. It's weird.
Yeah, like
Because I just don't know
because
if like
there's
they're two
more-
different
there's
hologram
more
races.
programming that goes into the Doctor and Sam
Like I feel like
No, there
than yes.
The point with the Doctor was he was a normal hologram. They kept him on, and he became more
That- yeah, okay.
sentient. But here's the
That's
thing.
a more
Bartek,
accurate.
here's the
Yeah.
thing. It's weird, though, that he does that, and then the Betazoid girl says, "Did you just kill her?" Basically, and he just fobs it off. Like he
Yeah.
fobs it off. Like
the way the show
the other
treats
character treats it like, "Hey, isn't it weird that this kind
Yeah.
of sentient creature you just did that to willy nilly?" And he's like, "It's fine. It's a hologram." It's like,
it just
dude, the
yeah,
show has
the-
two hologram characters that they treat with reverence.
Yeah, and the tone to me just
Mm.
seemed like, these are a bit more like generic AI. But if he
Yeah.
tried doing the same thing to Sam or the Doctor, like they'd just be confused. Like, what are you doing?
That's
Yeah.
the way that I thought about it. But then again, I think I am applying more Android
logic.
to the holograms.
They do have a
Then-
throwaway line that she doesn't like being called a hologram. She likes being called a photonic.
yeah.
Like, I'm a different life form. I'm a photonic rather than a hologram. But Yeah,
and
it's-
is that the distinction between sort of the levels of holograms?
But these are the little things I think of where it's just like, oh, he does this so flippantly. Wouldn't it be great if the hologram character found that? And how would she react to that? She's been nothing but bubbly, but how would she react after being bullied throughout the entire episode for being an overachiever, blah, 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 which is in part because she's a hologram, because she's programmed that way. How would she react if she found the main character did this?
Yeah, like she witnessed that happening.
Yeah, or she stumbled across it. How would she feel? Would she try to help? No. These are things you think about because these characters didn't get anything to do in the episode, but they were there. Like you said, Jaden, he cameos in the episode because did he do anything?
They were hanging
he
out at
would-
like the party, but that's about
but
it.
we didn't get a conversation with them. He was having a conversation with Caleb. Caleb leaves, so he joins Sam and Genesis, I think, and that's it. Like
They
he's
had,
just,
like-
he's there.
But Jaden's his best friend.
Yeah, they had like just general interactions that
They
indicate to you like,
bonded.
they're friends now, but like we didn't get too much more
Okay.
deeper into
But-
that. Which fair enough for this episode, but still.
I have a question for Bartek, which is for both episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a moment where you that definitely felt like fan service, but I don't understand it?
I mean the boothy sign, maybe not fan service, but like, this probably means something because it's in the
Mhm.
middle of the frame.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. And just every time a new race popped up, it's like, I wonder if people know this one.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one of the ones that I really liked was right before the uniform and haircut scene, there was like the guy with the clip pad who was like, "What's your degree or whatever?" And
Mhm.
you tell him like undecided. Go. I'm like, oh, he looks cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a race that's existed before.
They
or
also
not,
just have
but
a lot of weird ones. One of the
it's like a black
uh,
and white huff.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're
that's-
weird because the whole point in the original, they're an iconic Star Trek
Mhm.
design. But the thing is, it makes no sense that they're here because the whole point in the original series was there's only two of them left because their race killed each other through bigotry because of the simple bigotry of you are white on left side and I'm white on right side and that that type of thing.
Okay.
And the whole point was there was literally two left because they all killed each other. And what did these two do?
They fucked and
They fucking killed each other
oh,
because
they...
the bigotry.
I thought I was right.
It was the bigotry would never end. But then they're here now because Jingle Keys, you know what that is, right? It's like, no, I do. It makes no fucking sense.
It's like, yes, I do,
Makes
and
no
don't
sense.
do that.
One I want to call out, just it's an odd scene because it's a normal scene, but there's a fan service element that's literally plugged into it. And I don't know if Bartek had any thoughts because it's just so weird, which
Well,
is...
I was going to ask you what was the most egregious bit of fan service
Oh,
slash
the Boothby thing because it's
Yeah.
just so weird. It's like no,
It's
but there's
nothing
this
to me.
there's this scene where Holly Hunter and the Doctor and Luther Thock or whatever it is, he's explaining all the medical stuff. It was a very good scene. It's a good scene. Like no one wants to hear him. They're in the elevator. They're literally swapping seats to avoid him. And in this scene,
the drone?
there's this CGI little robot thing that just gets up and changes seats as well. Like it's this huge, like it's like yay big. I'm demonstrating with my hands to Bartek here. It's like yay big, and it's this big thing that floats around in the scene. That's a reference to a Next Generation episode, one of the best Next Generation episodes. And it's in this scene is just like a CG element that takes up space, and it's like, I know what it is, but if you're watching this,
how can you judge it so harshly? This show makes a Red Dwarf reference.
It makes references to other sci-fi, but it's like,
Is it as big as the Thing from Fantastic Four?
yeah. Oh, that thing? That's also like rock creature.
Yeah,
that's a reference to another Star Trek show, the kids show, Prodigy. Yeah, like that's just a reference
Was there
of like
any Lower Decks?
No,
references?
they don't. I can't recall. But one of the things was with that, the robot scene in that, it's a normal scene, but they've got this, like, it's a whole scene, but they've got this one random sci-fi CG element, and it's like, to me, that's weird. It's like, wait, what? But then, in its defense, so many scenes in this series just have random, what I would describe as sci-fi junk thrown in. Like, here's a random droid who drops things in the background and makes little cartoon noises, or Holly Hunter's going to not look at her.
The dot laughs at him.
Or like Holly Hunter's going to read the files as holograms that other people can clearly see, and
But
she's just going to have
you
them.
can read in reverse.
But still, it's like if she's reading your file, you can see that.
Yeah, like when they're looking at the haircut design, it's like, hey, you can see this. It's like your video game selection.
You'll need a regulation haircut.
Never happening.
What would we rate these individual episodes on our scale of Yum being bad and Yum Yum being good?
Bartek, kids these days, what does it get from you?
I'm really in the middle on both of these.
Well, not an option. Ryan made a binary system.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Just, the indicating that whatever I do decide on, not
you can
necessarily...
do a yum yum for one and a yum for another.
No, I get that. Just like it's not super strong opinion on either one. I think for the first one, I will give it a yum yum.
Yum yum.
And with the second one, I guess I do like the first one a bit more, but I do want more episodes kind of just with the more laid back tone.
Yeah.
So I will still give it a yum yum.
Yum yum.
That first episode drove me up the wall, but I watched it. Like, I wasn't just passive. I wasn't just resigned.
It actively drew me in as well, in both positive and negative ways.
And, like, yes, it has a lot of problems, but so many of these premiere episodes do, and it falls into a lot of the same problems I see from its contemporaries as well as just any show. And so I give it a tentative yum yum for the kids are all right, or whatever it was called. Kids these days.
Kids these days.
The kids are all right.
Yum yum.
Now, the beta test. That's a yum.
Yum.
They have these options of what they could do, and they don't do them. And what do they do instead? Spend a whole scene of him fucking around with a zipper. They spend a whole scene of him giving a tour to another character when we should have been on the tour with him discovering it for himself. Like, these are the things that are so simple and obvious, yet they didn't do them because instead we've got to say Boothby Park. We've got to say the exocomps in this scene. We've got to have... But even then, there's little things like, oh, look, the Doctor did the opera stuff. I fucking loved it.
It was great.
I fucking loved it. I love the Doctor. I love the Doctor. He's still my favorite character in this show. He's my favorite. I can't wait to see him again. I love that guy.
I hope that he's sprinkled evenly throughout the season.
I just kept writing in my notes, Picardo's the best.
Yeah.
That's what I kept writing down. Robert Picardo's awesome.
I stopped making notes after a little while with him because my first note was the Doctor's here and I loved every second of it. And I was like, I feel like that applies just moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I am feeling very conflicted about what I want to rate these two episodes because I'm finding it difficult because it's like it's not on the same sort of scale that Discovery ended up on. It's not there. It doesn't meet the same criteria. Like, it shouldn't have the same sort of rubric as one of the older shows that I genuinely enjoy and are aiming to do different things. And that's something that I'm struggling with the show overall, not just when it comes to the ratings, is what is this show trying to do? What does it want to be? Who does it want to be for? And we had those questions before, and I don't feel like I really have solid answers for that now.
Bartek even said, looking at that iconic poster we all love, the iconic poster that we all love, only one character on it is representative of who they are in the actual show itself, and that's Sam, which you aren't a big fan of, but you look at that poster and go, that's actually the character I've seen in
I will
the
say
2 episodes.
Genesis is more or less alright as well. She's not like overly joyful, and I feel like that's fairly there. But Sam is like 100% like, oh yeah, that's the character.
Yeah. And there are parts of both episodes that I enjoyed, and there are parts that I didn't like. But at the core of it, giving something a rating of yum yum means that it's good. Yum means that it's bad. And I do feel really cynical, but I'm going to give both episodes a yum.
Yum.
That's my wife. That's my wife. I knew it.
Honestly, because it sounds like Ryan and I are kind of unanimous on the first episode, even though for different reasons. And even though you've given it a different rating, it still kind of feels like we're all unanimous.
Yeah.
Because I think the first episode didn't sell me on the show. Because it doesn't appear to be a reflection of what the show's about. It introduced a villain, but a villain that doesn't have a specific reason to appear again. I don't understand his motivations or lack of motivations.
They take to the very final scene to get to the academy, which is like, you want to go to the fireworks factory. It's not like Next Generation skipped out and going to the fucking Enterprise in the final minute. You go to the Enterprise pretty quick.
Yeah, but it kind of revealed that like you were at the academy all along. Because it's the setting of the second episode.
But it's also, yes, but it's also like, you want to see the classes. You want to see the teachers. You want to see the things. But at the same time, because it's an overarching story.
It's like we had a surgery in a classroom, I guess. But yeah.
And then, like, the pacing felt really off. There was a lot of showing by telling, which felt really weird because I was just like, okay, you're kind of doing what I want, but no. And you're not following through on things. And I also, like, this show is going to suffer because I don't have trust in this franchise. And also, I really fucking hated that song at the end of the episode. Like, I cannot overstate how much, like, if that scene had a face, I would break its fucking nose.
But let me ask you.
Like, it brought anger out in me, and I was just like, I wasn't expecting to be that viscerally angry at a specific choice.
But did the opening credits proper warm
when
your heart?
The seed splits into a delta?
I didn't even notice that until you said it.
Oh, and you know that it's a fucking tree because it's growth and it's an academy and it's gonna blossom like they're gonna blossom. Symbolism, do you get it?
My hang up with the opening credit, like the proper little opening credits title is, why can't the music be interesting? It's just so dull. Oh, big, we talked about the Yum Yums with these episodes. We didn't talk about the second episode as much. Yum Yum for the second episode, without a doubt. It ends, just fade to black, and then just, hey, you want to build a fort? A bed fort? And I'm like, wait,
Let's build a fort.
Wait. That's how we end this episode. You just kind of just stop.
Yeah, they're 21-year-olds. They want to build a fort.
They're helping each other. Like, the two of them like getting over their differences because he's helping him. He's teaching him how to make a bed. And then the buffoon comes in and like build a fort. And then the second episode, the diplomacy frustrated me.
After watching B5, we're spoiled for space diplomacy.
But the idea of it being like a public forum discussion And it's just like everybody piles in and then they talk for 2 minutes and then they declare a recess and move on and then come back. And it's just like, give them one more chance. And the fact that they're just like, oh, you know what? We're going to sort of cave to the betazoids.
We're going to cave to the betas.
The cave to Betaville.
And put the seat of our government on their home planet, which basically guarantees what they wanted of, like, ships being there all of the time.
It's a compromise. You know what's hilarious? When we were watching the first episode, the character that can survive in space went all the way to collect this programmable matter, and Rachel said, wait, why does he have to go all that way? There's some right there. Can't he just go there? And Rachel was asking me this, and I turned to Rachel and just said, honey, I actually have no fucking clue what he's doing. All I know is he needs to do it.
He needs to be far enough away from the airlock that he can't just jump back in.
And until you said, just like how Bartek had troubles with the Betazoid stuff, until you just said how they solved the diplomacy crisis by putting the thing on their homeworld, I had completely forgot how they solved the diplomacy crisis, other than at the end they clapped and said it was over, like how Bartek was stating. Like, you said it so much, I'm like, yeah, that's
said,
how it
I'm
is.
sorry for not trauma dumping on you early enough, but can you ask your dad to give them one more chance?
Off screen.
My thing to you know, if it's okay.
It was funny.
You want to build a fort?
You want to build a fort? To wrap up here, we will be back in a fortnight's time to cover the next 2 episodes. And the thing that I want to know is, what are you wanting next? Like, what's something you want to see, something that you feel like you just desire? Not necessarily like the show needs to do this, but I would want this.
I want to go first because I have a really snarky one, because that's the frame of mind that I'm in now.
Mm-hmm.
I want, this is a stretch, I don't think I'm going to get it, but I would genuinely be so happy and feel so much better moving forward if the next episode or 2 does this, which is we have an episode where I feel like we see and we feel everything that they're talking about. Because really, in that second episode, a part of what kept on getting me so frustrated and agitated with what the show was doing was it was referring to things that I would have rather seen and would have made things more meaningful if I'd seen them. And the first episode also had that of, we don't get to see him on the run. We get a couple, like, his list of charges, and it's just like, what did that look like? How did that feel? How close has he been to trying to get to his mother? Was this a ploy all along to try and get access to the computer so that he could try and search for his mother?
It's taken him 15 years to be able to get to the single computer that can look through a prison database. Like, 15 years to get that? Seems like, what else have you been doing, buddy? What else have you been up to?
He's been on the run.
He hasn't slept in a bed. Poor guy has no bed.
They literally have a line that he's been on the run since that day. Yeah.
Like,
but what's he been, like, yes, that makes sense, but what does that actually mean for him? I would love to see, and this is just one of these things where I don't know how you realize this in this type of environment, honestly, but I would love to see a sci-fi quandary. Like, it's simple,
like a
but
Prime
like,
Directive episode.
You just feel like a science fiction plot quandary, like we were discussing, but like holograms, you know, we discussed this. I'm like, Sam, you know, how would she react to that? And like, that would be a sci-fi quandary you can get into. Like, these are the little quandaries, because a part of it is they are Academy students. They are not Jean-Luc Picard in TNG. They don't have the seasoned experience to understand how to deal with moral and ethical quandaries. Wouldn't it be great if they had a class that was tapping into that, and then an episode where they tapped into that type of sci-fi quandary? Because thus far, it has been Paul Giamatti comes on the ship, and you know what we need to do? Punch him. And then the second episode was, hey, I emotionally opened up to you and you didn't like that, and then the adults solve the problem. And it's like,
Yeah, give them a situation that is kind of above their abilities and see how they work their way through it.
Exactly. That's just the simple thing for myself. What about you, Bartek?
Obviously this could just be like a B plot element, but really just more relationship building, because I really do feel the jarringness of jumping from that first episode to the second, where most of the cast are just brushed off to the side. Even if we only focus on like a quarter of the people in our favorite poster, just give us a bit more dynamic building. Be able, I know that I think a general thing with New Trek is that they're moving along the grander narrative, but even just putting that aside for a bit and just giving us like school life stuff. Like, I was joking in episode 0, like, oh, it should be like Azumanga Daioh, but why not? It's like some slice of lifey episodes, maybe mix it with a moral quandary.
Give
kind
them
of
an
thing.
assignment.
Give them an assignment.
I think the next episode they're going to be on a mission out in space somewhere, and I think that they are going to have some sort of group assignment.
You weren't wrong, Huh? Hearing you did keep me warm at night.
It makes you a man, right?
That is it. That's our discussion. What a pleasure to be here to talk about some more Star Trek, a sequel series to Discovery. It even had that teacher that was, in that great scene we liked in the second episode that told him to be the teacher himself. That was a character from Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, really?
She even said, I came from the past. I had traveled 900 years in the future to be here. She even says her backstory in a very weird way.
Physics doesn't like me. I'm not meant to be here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because she's from Star Trek Discovery. That's Jet Reno.
Was she like a major character?
Yeah, well, she was a guest character, but that feels like they should have been a major character. But yes, she was semi-recurring. But yes, she was in the Star Trek Discovery. So who do you think will be here next? Will it be Commander Nandi to say yum yum? I hope so. I hope.
Is the Hitler lady still around?
No, she went to a previous time.
Is she the
George Al?
Oh, her name was on the wall.
They had her name on the wall because God bless the original George Al was a normal person. The original captain.
You actually just reminded me there with the whole talk about multiple 100 years old. It really threw me. It felt out of nowhere whenever it referenced that our Holly Hunter was like multiple 100 years old, because they kept mentioning 120 years ago, and at that point, okay, this character for some reason's over 100, that's fine, but then they throw out 300 years ago. How is this normal that
she says she's 400 something years old? Actually,
she's like, I'm half this species, and
they live a long time.
Okay, because I felt unprepared for all of that.
There are some Star Trek races that live a long time. Obviously, it depends too. Like Data can live forever.
Yeah,
he's an android. But the Vulcans can live to 200. Humans can live to 100 to 150. Okay. I think Bones, when we saw him last, was in his 170s or something ludicrous. So it's like that type of thing. But we do have aliens that are longer lifespans.
Okay.
So, but this is a case where it's her character is from a species that live an incredibly long period of time.
Okay.
But she's only half.
Right.
Because again, everyone's half.
Yeah.
Half a thing, half of this, half of that. Except for the Klingon, who's a full Klingon guy. And
I was
he's very
surprised by
smooth. He's very smooth. But thank you all so much for listening. You can find our stuff on all of the internet under yumyumpod or yumyumpodcast. Rate, review, share us around. Let us know your thoughts on Star Trek Starfleet Academy.
Fleet Academy.
Starfleet. It will be called Star Trek SF. That would be its initials.
Star Trek Street Fighter.
Star Trek Street Fighter. But until next time, everyone, just remember this. Paul Giamatti will return.
To build a fort.
Yeah. And
Can you imagine if he opened the door and there was Paul Giamatti as his new roommate? He's just like, look, I know we have some grudge match between us, but we gotta build a fort.
Everybody gets second chances in Starfleet now.
And Holly Hunter chews out main character, you're so busy building forts, and it's an allegory for you're acting like the pirate instead of the ideal Starfleet officer.